Welcome to Get It Done Entrepreneurs, where we talk with founders of companies who bet on themselves and won. My name is Rich LeBrun, and I am the founder and CEO of LeBrun Advisory Group. You can find us at rlebrun.com. Our mission is to help our clients build wealth through business ownership. Stick around to the end of the show, and we'll reveal how you can be our next guest. So our guest today is Marco Torres, founder of MarketingBoost.com. Marco is the expert in the power of using incentives to sell more without discounting. Marco is the founder of MarketingBoost.com. He has helped thousands of business owners worldwide boost sales and scale their business by as much as fivefold through the use of incentive-based marketing. He teaches entrepreneurs how to source sales and marketing through the use of value-add incentives instead of discounts. His Facebook group is home to more than 27,000 active business owners who are raking in sales with his advice and amazingly affordable subscription program. He's currently in Mexico City, but I think his hometown is Port Charlotte, Florida, if I remember.
That's right.
And with that, Marco, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to this.
Yeah, me too. You know, you have a wonderful industry, which we're going to dive into also a little bit in detail. But before we do that, let's talk to our listeners. Tell us your story. When did you become an entrepreneur? Is this your first adventure into that space? And let's kind of start there. And then from there, we'll kind of dig into a little bit of some of the ups and downs you experienced.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for asking about that. Well, my background is, no, it's not my first rodeo with the business I run today. I have multiple, but I started at a very young age at wanting to essentially be a business owner. And that's because my dad wouldn't give me any handouts. I didn't grow up where there was any kind of an allowance or anything. If you wanted to, in my case, I wanted a Schwinn bike. And my dad says, well, there's two ways. You can wait for your birthday or Christmas, maybe Santa will bring you the Schwinn, or you can go make some money. And I'm like, well, how do we do that? And so he suggested I get a paper route, which back then was a real business. I mean, I had to learn to knock on doors to sell subscriptions. I had to deliver the papers. I had to he taught me how to run a spreadsheet because I had to keep track of who owed me money, and had to go back door to door to collect the money and then keep it all, organized as to who still owes me what. And then, of course, paid the newspaper for all the route that I was delivering. So it was like a whole, combination circle. And one of the things I learned from very early on was to network with my friends. I mean, I recruited a bunch of my buddies to help me deliver the route in the morning, and I ended up building the biggest route. It was featured on the front page of the newspaper by age 12. By age 23, I had launched restaurants with my older brother and my mom, and we had 5 restaurants in 5 years. Speaking of franchises that you do, we looked at that option. We were in Puerto Rico growing up. I was growing up in Puerto Rico, and my mother's Mexican, my dad's Mexican. She cooked amazing Mexican food, and I'm like, hey, I was sick of college. I was not doing well, and never did well as a student, really, outside in school anyway. And so I said, let's open a restaurant, And my dad laughed and said, you guys don't know anything about restaurants. And so we looked into the franchise world, and in our case, that it was expensive as heck to do at the time. So my dad suggested we go work for all the franchises back in Texas. So we went to live back with my uncle in Texas, and we went to work at restaurants, picking up the night shifts, taking photographs back of everything they did, all the countertop designs, the equipment they used, the inventory. And so the lesson I learned back then was, if you want to operate a business, one of the ways to do it is to go be a student first, go work for somebody. Or if you want to buy the franchise, maybe go work for a franchise. Just roll up your sleeves and do the dirty work first and see if this is really a company you want to buy into or what have you. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That's your world of selling franchises.
That's a great idea.
But anyway, that's what we did. And we came back and opened up a restaurant and biggest food mall, the biggest strip mall in Puerto Rico. And not strip mall, but food court and a huge mall, rather. And then we opened up in a bunch of other malls. We opened up one in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. And the restaurant business is very demanding. I mean, that is very low, low profit margins and a lot of work. But our goal originally was to end up franchising our own brand and taking it national, bouncing from Puerto Rico back to the U.S. In the end, we ended up selling our restaurants to Taco Bell, several of them anyway. When they came they wanted into the island, and we controlled the mall locations they wanted. So timing was right. We sold out and got out of it. From there, I went on to get into sales, direct sales, door-to-door sales. I moved to Florida, and by the time I had a family, so I was, what pays the most? Sales. So I went into sales, and I taught myself sales. Eventually got into internet marketing. Make a long story short, internet marketing, very early adapter in 1996. I realized I could make more money supporting or generating leads for other salespeople rather than relying on 100% of my own sales efforts. So I became a marketer and grew that since 1996. I've generated now over $1 billion in sales for companies that I've worked for or clients of mine or my own companies over the last 26 years or so of internet marketing. And today I own a company. Well, we'll get into that later, but that's kind of a nutshell of where I'm at today. I got into the travel space early in the 1990s. So I've been mostly wrapped around the travel industry and online sales and marketing.
Marco, I love the story. It's funny because here you are in an incentive type based business, and you were incentivized by your first Schwinn bike. So we can date each other because not a lot of people don't even know what Schwinn is anymore. But anyhow, that was a big thing to get the Schwinn bike. And your dad was that. You just got to thank your dad if he's still alive, but saying, thanks for putting that incentive out there because there you are, perfected that effort. And I love the journey. I love the restaurant business and selling to Taco Bell. It ended up being almost like a real estate play rather than a restaurant play because they wanted your locations. So, but very entrepreneur spirit, and I love that. But now, if you're looking back over your journey, can you think of a couple of things if you're coaching yourself in hindsight that say, you know what, here's some things that I would do differently because maybe some decisions that you made, maybe you wish you would have done differently if someone would have coached you. Anything come to mind?
Well, one of the things I would have done differently would have been diversifying investments along the way. When I was younger, as you make money, you spend money, and you make the mistake anyway of, yeah, I'm doing well. This is great. You get the big house and the fancy car, and then it turns into 7 cars in the driveway and all kinds of toys, boat, motorcycle, the whole ball of wax. And then 2008 comes around and boom.
We got that Schwinn bike. We got the Schwinn bike. That's all we got left.
That's all we got left. Yeah, that's exactly right. I often jokingly say that 2008 to 2009 were some of the best sales years I ever had. I mean, I sold my house, I sold my cars, I sold my boat, I sold my furniture, I sold my.
That's good. That's a good perspective.
Yeah, it got really bad. I mean,
but we're here. We're here.
We're here to reinvent myself and completely find a new way of generating some income.
Very nice. Okay, so diversifying your investments. What else? Anything else you would kind of coach yourself do differently?
Yeah, one of the things I've done well and wrong is I've almost always had business partners in the different businesses that I've been involved with. And the good part about that, like even when I mentioned back to the days of the kids helping me deliver papers, the good part of that is what I've always liked about having partners is you're conquering and dividing. You're doing what you do best over here, and a partner doing what they do best over here. And every time I did it, I was leveraging the need for lack of capital, lack of, in other words, not having the deep pockets to just go and hire the people that I wanted. So I would try to look for people that I could partner with instead. They could, if there was an upside, we'd all gain, and if there was not, I wasn't funding somebody's heavy payroll. but of course, that also brings the opportunity, like marrying the wrong spouse. That wrong partner can, and the key to the wrong partnerships is not having well put together. I think the mistake I made that I would never make again was not having a really well written, what's the word I'm looking for, operation agreement in the corporations, where all of the expectations of the partners are well defined, how to, get rid of one or the other, or not be able to get rid of one or the other. In other words, having everything really well put together by a lawyer, not just Google search and put something together, but really do it right in the first place, so that down the road, when things go wrong, and inevitably they will, you need to, in other words, the proper operating agreement will help it that it does not go sour, that it does not become, you can go back to your founding documents to ensure, kind of like the Constitution of the United States. You've got that document that spells out how to operate, what can be done, what can't be done. And I've made the mistake of not doing that properly multiple times.
Yeah, well, I think that's something that's a very common mistake from all of us who've been in business for ourselves and with partners, and it's kind of going to school on real life.
Yeah.
So let's kind of jump to the other side. You have been successful. You have weathered some tough markets, the 2008 market you referred to. What are one or two key decisions that you did well that you would say, this is really kind of the catalyst to my success?
Um, in a way, part of it is those same partnerships. So, in other words, the tying in people, surrounding people that are smarter than me in areas that I lack has been part of the successes I've had over the years as well. I do what I do well, but also recognize what I don't do well, and either partnering or hiring the right people to be with you to help you accomplish that. And I think one of the mistakes I see too many other entrepreneurs make is, because they're avoiding the leveraging of relationships or what have you, they are the control freak type that want to do it all themselves, and that is stifling and holds people back as well. I wouldn't have gotten where I'm at at the same time, if I did not surround myself with people smarter than me, the teams of people that I've hired and fired in the process of getting to the right staff and people that can help you build a business.
I like that conversation about that, because a lot of people get burned by partnership and then they kind of cross that whole idea off altogether, rather than getting smarter and how to go into the next one and getting maybe a better operating agreement or better terms figured out. Because partners can be very helpful, and as you said, getting somebody that can complement, be strong where you're weak and vice versa, is really a good formula for success. So I appreciate that. Mark, let's take a little break in the middle. You have this company called marketingboost.com. I want to give you a commercial break opportunity to share with our listeners who your customer is, maybe a little bit about your company, or anything you want to promote specifically. This is your time. Let's talk about your company.
Great, thank you. Yeah, Marketing Boost is the company that I'm most proud of today, and that inspires me to get out of bed and keep traveling the world and promoting Marketing Boost. What we do is we serve business owners around the globe, thousands of business owners that subscribe to our subscription-based model, and we provide what I call the wow, surprise, and delight factor. We provide travel incentives and restaurant savings vouchers. For example, we provide complimentary hotel stays from 3 to 7 nights in 130 destinations around the world. We provide hotel savings cards that come in increments of $1, $2, $3, and $500 that save. They work kind of like a gift card, but they don't pay for the entire hotel stay. They will save compared to the Expedias or Priceline and Hotels.com of the world. And then we have restaurant savings vouchers that are good at about 250,000 offers throughout the USA and Canada. Restaurants, it's a phone app that people can download, we teach our members how to use these incentives to enhance whatever their call to action is. Instead of discounting, we teach them how to add value to whatever their call to action is with these travel incentives. to close more sales, for Black Friday offers, for Christmas, promotions, for trade show giveaways, for referral programs, loyalty programs. There's a million different ways to use these incentives uh, to create engagement with your community or build a community or create evangelists for your brand and all that type of stuff. So our community, we have a Facebook group of over 30,000 entrepreneurs, and that's what we do. We have our own podcast show as well. And the idea is to provide value to our community and teaching them how to grow their business, inspiring them to keep on going when things get tough. And of course, using our incentives, whether it be full-blown heavy-duty marketing campaigns or even just occasionally rewarding staff or rewarding clients for customer appreciation periods and things along those lines.
Well, maybe speak to us as a listening body. You talk about incentives versus discounts. Talk about a little bit about a lot of people just are sometimes discount their service when they don't have to do that. They can come up with a different approach. Can you just kind of speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's tempting as a business owner often to try to differentiate, I can't even say the word, to try to stand out from the crowd here and end up discounting to compete with your people in your community or in your circle. And of course that can turn into a race to the bottom in no time, because as you discount, sooner or later somebody will come up with the same offer at even lower than you, and then you're racing to the bottom. And what a lot of people don't realize, you don't do the math. I mean, let's say you have a 10%, 20% net profit at the end of the month. If you give a 10% discount, you actually just gave 50% of your profit away. So you end up having to double sales to end up where you were with only as little as a 10% discount, depending upon your net profits. So what I like to suggest strongly to business owners is come up with ways to add, whether it be using incentives like marketing boost offers, or whether it be creating your own widget bonuses, your own buy one, get one, your own, you have a course you wrote last year that now when you buy this year's course, you get last year's course as a bonus, adding that value stack, trying to make offers that look so good that people feel stupid saying no. One of my books I recommend I recently read that I really enjoyed was Alex Farmosi's 100 Million Offers, and now his new book, 100 Million Leads. And the reason I mentioned that is, he talks about how to structure your offer, your value stack instead of discounting. And he's not even talking about marketing boost incentives, but if you do what he suggests and include incentives, you can really create a value stack that people will jump off the fence and take action and do business with you.
Very nice, very nice. Well, I think I love the idea because it's a different mindset. And obviously through your company, you've already negotiated all these incentives for your members, right? If I understand that correctly. And so you can subscribe to your service and take advantage of that. And I'm assuming you help coach your customers how to implement that in their journey. Thank you. Thank you for that. Very much appreciate it. Okay, let's talk about the next segment here. We talk about this kind of going forward. You mentioned that you had already been to 2008. So did I. Most of the world has been through that Great Recession. But you're here to talk about it. Here we are now in 2023, we're in the fourth quarter now, and we still have the same issues: high interest rates, labor issues, inflation, political unrest, wars, a lot of things going on, and you're an owner of a company. So how do you see this for yourself and leading your company? Is this a time where there's great opportunity? Maybe it's even a time to even offer more incentives. Is this time to retreat, hunker down, adapt, pivot? What's going on in your mind? How you're navigating these crazy times?
Well, maybe one of the faults that I often have is being kind of an optimist regardless of what's going on and keep pushing forward. For example, during the COVID-19, I'm in the travel space. So when COVID hit, of course, it was, a big hit. We lost probably 30-40% of our member base, our subscribers that were using our travel incentives, Many of them thought, well, travel incentives won't work during COVID. Yet those that stuck with us were finding that people still had hopes and dreams of traveling beyond COVID. So we extended, for example, the time to use our incentives from 18 months to 24 months during that time. But no doubt we took a hit. I mean, there was people who were using are receiving the incentives back then. For example, nobody was using them. People were they were holding on to them with the hope of traveling down the road when things got better. But fortunately, for example, 2021 came around, and mid-year, after people were kind of sick and tired of being locked down, and maybe well, herd immunity and vaccines and everything combined, people were ready to travel, and it turned into the opportunity. Fortunately, we hung in there because it turned into what I called, what's the word I'm looking for here? I forgot. Uh, Revenge travel. That's the word I was looking for. It turned into revenge travel. I mean, we had more usage of these incentives. And so, anyway, to make a long story short, I don't know. There's so much going on, as you say. World, it looks like we're about to blow up into a World War III. Who knows what could? All I can do is focus on what I can control and focus on what the services and products that we can deliver, and pray for the best outcomes, because it's certainly a lot of unknowns and a lot of but I do suggest, if you're in business today, you need to be making sure you've got some reserves built up to get through some turbulent times. That doesn't necessarily mean pulling back and holding back. I would say push strong, hard on marketing and advertising and generating as much clients as revenue, as long as you're generating a profit, but pulling back, putting reserves aside, not necessarily making huge investments in new equipment. That's what I would be doing. Not making huge investments in equipment and what have you, but instead in having reserves that'll hold you through, and whatever, depending upon what you invest in, but having access to liquidate that quickly so you can get through tough times if need be.
Yeah, and I've heard others say affirming what you're saying. Do what you can do best that you can control, and just do it better. Because that's the only thing that's within your reach. And I love the idea of be conservative, be careful about putting reserves aside. If anything we learned from the 2008 is that would have been helpful. And I always say there's a few people in the world that don't worry about some of the big economic times, like Warren Buffett. He doesn't worry about the stock market. He creates his own, but none of us are in that category. Lastly, on a personal note, you got to get up on Monday morning. You got to go to work, whether you're in Florida or Mexico City, or you mentioned earlier you're traveling a lot around the world. What do you do to get yourself ready as your personal disciplines? Do you use mentors, coaches? How do you keep yourself focused go as a CEO, founder of a company?
You know what? My wife is my strength there. She is a psychologist, therapist, and if it wasn't for her, I'd probably be going bananas sometimes. So she's like my North Star that kind of helps guide me and keep me on track. And of course, I'm always learning from others. I'm watching other. I'm always been a student of continuing to learn additional, whether it be reading or whether it be listening to podcasts, whether it be having online courses, learning new technologies. Of course, the new technologies always frustrate the heck out of me. I'm getting too old for this, but you got to keep relevant. You got to keep learning, and so I like going to summits and masterminds and participating in those kind of things, because it's the combination of networking and meeting new people that who knows what those relationships turn into, to also learning and seeing for yourselves what others are doing that you might emulate from. And I learned from a very early age, for example, emulating other restaurants. I've never been one to reinvent the wheel, and I haven't been lucky enough to invent something that out of the box that's totally new, like Elon Musk or what have you. But I've always been able to, there's a whole industry today called funnel hacking, where You want to go and look at what others do, and then hack what it is that worked well for them. Can you emulate some of that stuff and make them your own for your business? That's what I've done for decades. I kind of think it's like, copy and paste your way to success. And so don't reinvent the wheel, follow others and follow the steps of others, learn from others, and, of course, edit the path along the way. Don't just completely copy paste, but, edit and make the pivots and adjustments, make them your own, and it can go a long way.
Yeah, and I really believe in the saying, if you help others get to where they want to go, in return, you'll get to where you want to go. I remember in 1976, my first company, I started a painting company, and I didn't know anything about painting, contract painting for residential. So I hired a guy who's been in the industry for 40 years, and he taught me how to paint. And he was grateful to do that, and that's how I learned, kind of like you did in the restaurant business. You just worked at a restaurant. What better way to learn than get firsthand experience?
You mentioned, well, quick there to interrupt you. You mentioned one of Zig Ziglar's favorite quotes there. That was one of the first series of books that totally inspired me as a young man, was the learning how to sell. Was the whole series of books from Zig Ziglar, still relevant today. And the main message in his theme of books has always been, help enough other people get what they want in life, and you'll get what you want. And even in direct sales, whatever, if your mind is stuck on the commission for yourself, you're not going to be very successful. You need to make sure that whatever it is your product or service is a good fit. Can you make, does it help your client get what they want? If it does that, you will get what you want in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Marco, thanks for your time. How can people get a hold of you should they want to utilize your service or learn more?
Yeah, go check us out at marketingboostsolutions.com. At marketingboostsolutions.com, we provide a variety of products and services. It's softwares to help boost your business along with the travel incentives. Or you can go to our Facebook group, Marketing Boost official Facebook group, or marketingboost.com directly. Marketingboost.com. You can actually get a free version of Marketing Boost right now for a limited time with no credit card required. You can sign up and get a limited number of the incentives that we offer, and give one to yourself. Check it out, marketingboost.com.
Very good. And we'll put all that information in the podcast notes, which this podcast will be aired on all podcast platforms within the next 2-3 weeks. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I never want to take that for granted. You are a CEO, founder. You got your own things to do, but you're willing to be generous enough to share your wisdom with our listeners. For that, I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you.
And I hope you have a great day. It was a pleasure having you on the show.
You as well.
Very good. Okay. Thank you very much. And this will be out. As I said, we'll edit this last part and the first part out. Great conversation. Thank you for doing that. I am curious. This is more personal. I am a franchise consultant, so I help executives to buy franchises. You're familiar with that industry. Do you see? 'Cause I need to get leads. I need to get people to come and listen to me and talk about the idea of a business ownership. Is Marketing Boost something I should look into for helping me generate leads?
Absolutely, it could. Again, everything is about A/B testing and so forth. But for example, one of the ways we have lots of our members use these incentives is to, for example, encouraging or rewarding folks to join you on to book an appointment for no obligation Zoom call to see if there's a good fit. So you might offer, for example, a $200, $300, $500 hotel savings card as a complimentary gift just for booking a no obligation Zoom call. Let's see if the franchising business is a good fit for you. We're going to reward you with a $300 hotel savings card, good at 1 million hotels worldwide, if you book the appointment, and of course show up on time. So in other words, now all of your reminder messages might be going out saying, show up on time for the appointment, and we'll reward you with a $300, $500, whatever dollar amount works best after testing. But we're going to offer you, for example, a franchise is a big ticket item. So you could use a big ticket incentive even just for the appointment, no obligation appointment, because it's believable. Hey, you're asking me to take a $500,000 investment or $200,000 investment or whatever, or you're going to guide me into one of these different franchises that be from 30 to whatever they are. So um, you could be saying, look, we know your time is super valuable. If you join us on this, call, whether we do business together or not, or whether you buy a franchise or not, we're going to give you 3 nights in Las Vegas on us. Now, these gifts, they don't include, here's the 3 disclaimers you would need to give a client. They don't include airfare, they don't include food and beverage, and they don't include government taxes and fees. But I'm going to take care of your hotel stay in Vegas just for us, chatting. Or you might try, like others do, you use the hotel savings card, a smaller incentive, a micro incentive for the micro call to action, like the appointment. And then when you're on the call, you're saying, by the way, if you do go ahead and make this, and decide to buy the franchise, get involved. If you qualify, if I can get you qualified for the investment, et cetera, then once we get forward and get you going, I'm going to reward you with a 5 nights in Cancun on us at a AAA 4 diamond resort on the beaches of Cancun or Cabo San Lucas as a reward for you and your wife after we get your business up and off the ground. So you can dangle that as a carrot.
Well, how does that work? Just let's use that as an example. What does it cost me on my side?
It costs you our monthly subscription of $37 a month or $347 for the year to give away as many of these as you want.
Really?
Absolutely. There's no cost for unless you want to pay the activation fee for your client. So if you have a big ticket item like you do, you might want to pay the activation fee. There's an activation fee to the travel certificate for the complimentary hotel stays, for example. 5 nights in Cancun, there's an activation fee of about $39 per night, taxes and fees. So it's $188. You might want to, for the profit margins that you might make, you might say, I'm going to pay that. So you can fund your wallet and marketing boost, and you can give your client the complimentary stay for $200. And they have 5 nights. They have 18 months to use it. In some cases, there may be a resort fee due. There is in Cancun. So your client would, when they use the trip, they would end up paying a resort fee like any other travel destination. If you travel with Expedia, when you check in, often there's resort fees. So those might still apply. But, and then of course, airfare is not included. But at the end of the day, you have a high perceived incentive to give away. There's no timeshares. There's no hoops to jump through. There's no craziness like that to use these incentives. And at the end of the day, what we've figured out is we help hotels fill rooms that would otherwise go empty and convince them or have partners now that realize they're better off having someone in these rooms versus no one. They'll likely spend money at the restaurants, bars, spa, casino, gift shop, excursion desks, etc., and versus no one in the room at all. And so if they get that resort fee and they get other money on the property, they're generating money, and we're helping fill rooms that would otherwise go empty, which means we provide 32 weeks on average out of 52 year-round for the destination. So the only caveat to these complimentary hotel stays is they're not available Christmas week, Easter week, New Year's Eve. They're not available 4th of July, Memorial Day weekend, etc. They may not be available for the client's birthday. In other words, if they can be a little bit flexible, they're going to have 32 weeks of available inventory at each of the destinations we offer.
Well, and the companies out there have 30,000 salespeople out there selling their product through through this incentive program. So if someone signs up if I were to sign up with your program, does someone do you teach me how to do this, or is it pretty self-explanatory?
Two things. One, it is very self-explanatory. We do have a lot of video training on our platform that walks you through how to give these incentives away. And then we do provide a free 1 hour, a coaching call where we go through showing you example, and we give you all kinds of templates too. We give you these examples of how to plug in these incentives to your call to action, how to disclose the disclaimers and have them make sense that you as a as a franchise consultant are in the business of offering a travel incentive, how to make that make sense. That you offer travel with something that's not related to travel. Obviously, these work really well for travel agents because then it's just like buy one, get ones. But it can also make sense it especially makes sense with high ticket products like yours because when it doesn't make sense is for the online retailer who's selling $50 product, giving them 5 nights in Cancun for a $50 purchase. Then it sounds too gimmicky, sounds too too good to be true. On the other hand, if I make a $30,000 franchise investment for I don't know, that might be a crazy low number, but regardless of the affordable franchises that might be available, it's still $30,000. Giving me 5 nights in Cancun to go with that, or $100,000 investment seems like a reward I deserve.
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely a big ticket item. Well, good. I'll go on your website, take a look at that, and I'd love to learn how to see how that would work in my business. But
yeah, and you can book a demo on the website as well. So if you go to either one of those sites, Marketing Boost Solutions or Marketing Boost, you can book that demo without even signing up, and we'll walk you through a brainstorming call on how to use the incentives for your business.
Perfect. Very good. Well, I appreciate your time. And again, we'll send you the edited version of this in a couple of weeks once our marketing department gets wrapped up in that. And by the way, you'll be part of what we call the Founders Circle. If you ever go on my website under podcast or LeBrun.com under the podcast tab, you'll see we got about 80 people up there now, all founders of companies. So
yeah.
Feel free to
With
network.
that said, I do think your topic of I don't know how many of my clients might be a good actual prospect for you, but I'd love to have you on our show and talk about the franchises, what's involved with that, what needs to be. It'd be an whole education for me as well. I haven't looked at any franchise opportunities in decades. So if you'd like to be on our show,
send me a link or whatever I need to do to get on there. I'd be happy to do that.
That'd be great. So thank you so much, sir.
Very good. Have a great day. Again, nice to get a chance to meet you.
Thank you, Rich. Same here.
Rich LeBrun here. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast, Get It Done, Entrepreneurs. If you are a successful business owner who would like to be on this program, please visit us at rlebrun.com/podcast and fill out the form and we will reach out to you. If you got something out of this interview, would you share this episode on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag GetItDoneEntrepreneurs. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean a lot to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, rlebrun.com, or follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time.